Welcome back to the Kick and Post YouTube channel. Finally here with the boy Kris. We're going to talk some NFL news.
Yes, sir.
As of the week of March 10th. How you doing tonight, my boy?
Good. Today was a great day. We finishing off strong. I hate my computer, but we're here.
Oh my gosh. Let's not even get started on the computer, but you got some questions. You got a little bit of a,
I do.
I don't want to say syllabus, but something for us to go over just so it kind of keeps us on track. But what's the first thing you want us to hop into tonight?
A lot of big news been coming the past couple of days, man. Like some shocking news as well. I don't want to dip too much into it too early because we're going to touch on all of that. Don't get me wrong. But first question.
Yes.
What team has had the best offseason move so far?
I mean, I feel like there's not really a question. You go out there, you acquire a franchise-changing quarterback in a division with two of the big quarterbacks in the top 10, in my opinion, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes. You bring yourself a little bit closer to the pack by acquiring Russell Wilson for a fairly solid deal, I would say. Where do you stand on the deal? Because I know that's part of the question. I feel like almost is, even though they went out and acquired Russell Wilson, do you think they spent too much or too little?
I wouldn't say they spent too much, only because the Commanders had a better offer. If they were in the same conference, he would be in Washington right now, more than likely. I also heard that he wouldn't remove his no-trade clause for them. I don't know if that's true or not, but, I mean, it was a fair deal. I feel like both teams, or if anyone won the trade, clearly Denver. The real question is, did Seattle get enough in return,
Yeah, personally, I'm not a big Drew Lock fan. I think we've seen what we needed to see out of him.
Yeah.
I am not really too big on the D tackle they got either. What was his name?
Shelby Harris.
Yeah, I think he's okay, but not really like a game breaker or anything like that. Noah Fant is a good piece to get back, but again, you're pairing him with Drew Lock. They did get the 1-9.
Yes.
Which I'd be surprised if they don't take like a Malik Willis.
I'm seeing a lot of that.
Or somebody in that realm. And they have a couple second-round picks as well in the deal.
They do. I want to say they got
the 40th pick overall.
Yeah, they got this year's and next year's, I think.
Yeah. So they have things they could add. To be completely honest, they should still be shipping pieces out. DK is young. I expect him to still be there, unfortunately, for the rebuild.
Same.
Tyler Lockett, on the other hand, will end up somewhere else.
Shipped off.
I'd be surprised if he's not like, what did you say?
He getting shipped off next day delivery.
Yeah, I think he should be out. Bills, personally, I feel like is a great landing spot for him. It would hurt my boy Gabe Davis a bit because I feel like he would be taking that role away from him, but probably play Gabe in the slot or something, let Cole Beasley walk, save that money. But
it's true.
Bills, solid landing spot for him. Maybe even, dare I say it, Green Bay. Out there with Devontae Adams, if they could acquire him for a decent price. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers would be happy with that. But, yeah, it's a full rebuild out there in Seattle right now. I'd be surprised to see if they compete for anything in that division that's also less loaded now, but is also pretty loaded. So, yeah, that's my stance on that one. I don't think they got back enough, even with it being a rebuild.
Okay, so what do you think the next step should be for Seattle to, kick off this rebuild in the right way? Because a lot of people already feel like they're a step behind, not from this trade, but from the Jamal Adams trade. Because they had to give up two firsts to get him.
Yeah, that was a horrible trade.
Horrendous.
Yeah.
Egregious. A lot of synonyms to go along with that. But what do you think is the next step?
They didn't acquire enough assets to go after Deshaun Watson. If they wanted to flip their assets and bring Deshaun Watson in, it would definitely work towards the rebuild because they get a way younger quarterback that's been known to be talented. And you compare him with the younger assets that you're pretty much acquiring and then spend that 1-9 elsewhere. Well, actually, they would have to give that 1-9 up in the deal. But
you think?
Possibly. I mean,
I think so.
Excuse me.
That's
the
safe
only
to
way
say.
you don't is if his name gets cleared before trade deadline or if they come to a settlement outside of court or something crazy. Because we all know the price on Deshaun Watson is very based on the I was about to say conspiracy, but that's not the word. Based on the allegations that
conspiracy
against him.
They
Ain't no
got
conspiracy.
some statements.
There's a lot of proof behind it. This ain't the moon landing. There's text messages and a paper trail. So But things could be settled out of court, or his name could be cleared somehow, and then the price goes back up. So,
Yeah, I mean, it won't go up too much in my opinion, but it definitely won't stay at where it's at now because there's a lot of risk involved right now, and that's where you got to cash in and just do what you got to do. You feel me? Especially if you're Seattle.
Houston on the fact that like he'll be out, then maybe.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they're gonna have to pay that 1.9 for sure.
Yeah. But hey, I wouldn't mind giving up a 1.9 for Watson.
It's gonna be that and a little bit more.
Yeah, but if that deal could end up being Russell for Deshaun Watson, Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, and just one first-round pick, I'd take that. Like that seems pretty solid to me.
I think that's a solid rebuild. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
And then hopefully they could build that line out with vets or something. But yeah.
All right. So on to the next question. Since we are on this Russ conversation, where does Denver rank in the conference now?
Third.
You said what?
I said third.
Oh, I thought you was thinking about a third. Wow. So what's your order right now?
You're talking about their division, right?
Oh yeah, my bad. The division.
Okay,
yeah.
I was just saying the whole conference. That's tougher. I'd have to break it down, but
yeah,
in their division, definitely third. I'd go Chiefs, Chargers,
okay,
Denver, Vegas.
Okay, now is this like post Khalil Mack trade or you were like this earlier as it is?
I was on the fence before, but even more so now with the Khalil Mack trade.
Okay.
I do believe that even with acquiring a guy like Russell Wilson, Courtland Sutton, we have to see what he's like 2 years removed from the ACL injury. Last year was a down year for him. Of course, it was Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock throwing the ball. We know that. But still, not very positive things out of Courtland Sutton on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy, third-year receiver, still yet to break out. He also dealt with a high ankle sprain last year.
Yeah.
So to see what we have in him, we're putting everything on the quarterbacks right now, but we've seen Teddy Bridgewater keep Michael Thomas's production up and still be able to, hit guys here and there. So if you have the talent and you're set, you should still be able to produce somewhat, even with a bad quarterback. So we still have question marks at the receiver position for this entire offense. The run line, well, I was about to say the run line. The offensive line is the best offensive line that Russ will have played with in many, many years. Probably the early stages of Seattle, that Legion of Boom area where they had Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
This will be the best line that he plays with in a very, very long time. But again, are we gonna have tandem running backs in the backfield? Or are we going to have second-year Javonte Williams taking over the keys to the offense and then see what he would be like for a full stretch of games? We don't know what his health situation would be like as the main back. So there's a lot of question marks even with adding a guy like Russell Wilson. While in these other positions, we have guys like Herbert getting more comfortable in the position. They're keeping his main weapon, Mike Williams. Keenan Allen still to be a very solid target getter out there. They need to add a tight end, in my opinion. Austin Eckler's already, you know what Austin Eckler is. And that defense is stout. And
real stout now.
Yeah, real stout now, but it was stout before. And then you have the Chiefs out there, which are the Chiefs. So until some of these Denver questions can be answered, I can't move them up to 2.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like a lot of fans get too excited too soon because once that news broke out, I'm like scrolling through Twitter. Obviously, it's like, oh, Super Bowl bound. He about to get a ship, and it's like that's not. You weren't a quarterback away. Like some teams are. Denver was not one of them, because like the things you mentioned, like Courtland Sutton's always off the field. Even Judy's been going through that. Hasn't become the Judy that we thought he would be, and like I thought when he first came to the league, he would be dominant from day one, just because of like his route running is impeccable. That's not even a question. But you got to be on the field to do that,
That's a fact.
But I guess Russ is the right direction, but they still need a couple more pieces. I think they still need to bring Von Miller back. That's a very key piece, especially for the price that they can get him for. Yeah, that's gonna be the finesse of the century. Like they gave up a couple picks for 8-game rental. Like, come on, that's beautiful. But yeah,
beautiful. It would be a great story too. But
but as
even if they don't. There's guys to go out in the market and get, so.
Yeah, I think Emmanuel Agba, Chandler Jones is still out there. Those are just the two biggest names that I know of that would be like quality edge rushers as of right now. But yeah, I got Denver as third right now too. That's post Khalil Mack trade because I don't see them beating the Chargers. Even with that line, you're not blocking Bosa and Mack. They're both on the field. I'm sorry. And even Von Miller can tell them that. Like, you just GG's, you know? But, yeah. Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, and then Raiders? And the Raiders might be even lower now because I'm hearing a lot of Derek Carr rumors, too. Have you heard any of those?
Yeah, that teams are interested in trying to acquire him.
Yeah, I saw today the Browns are interested in acquiring him.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty
It's
interesting.
a bit of an upgrade.
A bit. I like that move. If he goes to the Browns, even as a Bengals fan, like he'll move the ball. But they got to get a receiver with him too, though. They ain't got nobody.
They'll probably they're gonna let Jarvis go. I was hearing earlier they could save $15 million off top. I think if they let Jarvis go, so I don't think they're gonna be willing to pay him $15 million. Then Rashad Higgins is a free agent. Not sure if he can hang around. So then you're looking at Donovan Peoples-Jones, and according to every mock in the world, they're funded.
Yeah, every mock.
So
every mock.
that's a tough one to kind of drop with Baker. But again, Chubb and Kareem Hunt, that's still, in my opinion, the best running back duo in the league. So you could lay a lot on their plate. And this team, for some reason, loves their tight ends. They went out and tagged Njoku, which I think was a horrible move, but have Njoku, Austin Hooper, and Harrison Bryant on the same roster. So maybe they could run, a 3 tight end set or something crazy like that.
I mean, they are a run-heavy team, so based on their scheme, it makes sense for them to have 2 solid tight ends. But that being said,
not a solid tight end.
Yeah, exactly. Like for their scheme, he's not the tight end that you need. He's not like a dominant run-blocking tight end. He's like a slot tight end, like run routes. Like he's gonna do every linebacker dirty, but like he's not blocking no linebackers. You feel me?
And especially when the Giants are shipping out Evan Ingram, I feel like they've gotten him for a cheaper deal.
Way cheaper, like a prove it deal. Hella incentives.
And he's done more.
Yeah, so, I don't know. It's just the Browns. I had so much faith in them last year, and that's my fault. I put that on me because I got played just like everybody else. They ain't ready.
But like you said, if Derek Carr gets moved, they're looking at Marcus Mariota starting with Hunter Renfrow as wide receiver 1. Well, technically Darren Waller is wide receiver 1, but actual wide receiver Hunter Renfrow is wide receiver 1. I'm not sure if they spend. Do they have a first round pick this year?
Do they?
I don't know if
good
they
question.
Do. But if they do, it would be cool for them to try to target. Shoot, I don't even say receiver because they'll get infatuated with the fastest receiver in the draft. Which I feel like
think that's the pick. They do have a pick. I've been seeing that. They're getting Jameson Williamson from a lot of mocks I've been seeing.
Right? I told you. They get infatuated with the fastest receiver.
Yeah, they have
the
20. No, that's cap. Look at the 22nd pick. Come on, man. They got somewhere in the 20s, but I've been seeing a lot of him going there. Oh, they do have the 22nd pick. Yeah. Okay.
So the Jameson Williamson. What am I saying? Is it Jameson Williamson? Jameson Williams?
Jameson Williamson. Yeah, I want to say that's correct.
What? Okay. That boy from Bama who hurt himself. That boy from Bama who hurt himself.
Yeah.
Who was projected to run sub 4.3. Of course, not healthy by the time of the combine. Which we'll just a quick sprinkle in. We'll do a podcast about the combine with Dave. Shout out Dave. But the stopwatches they were running down there with all these guys running 4.2 something, insane.
Yeah, I think they were recording the time on like the iPod Nanos, man.
Yeah, when they corrected all the times, there was like actually like not even 1.42 receiver. But anyway, besides the point. He was projected to run sub 4.3, wasn't healthy in time to go to the combine. It would be just like the Raiders to take just the fastest guy again. They did it in that wide receiver draft with Brandon Ayuk. Justin Jefferson was in that draft too, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Jerry Jeudy.
Correct.
Who else was in that draft? I know I'm missing someone.
T. Higgins was in that draft.
T. Higgins was in that draft as well.
CeeDee Lamb was picked after him.
And I know I wasn't making content at the time, but I was out on Henry Ruggs.
See, I wasn't That pick wasn't that bad of a pick. I will stand by that to this day. Besides
horrible.
the accident, besides the DUI.
Not besides the accident, he hasn't produced. Even before that,
but
he hadn't
if
produced.
you look at the Bama tape, he had quality hands, and yes, quality. He has a lot of tough catches on his tape. The speed was out of this world. Like,
we know that.
Oh my God. Yes, we know that now.
We know that.
And he was a Bama product. Like, when you go against the best every day at Bama, you compete in the SEC, you do get bonus points for that. I'm sorry. Like, it's just how
production, in my opinion, was
works.
lacking compared to the other guys on his team.
Yes. Now, I wouldn't have drafted him over CeeDee Lamb. That would have never happened.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to even mention he was in the draft, too.
I wouldn't have drafted him over CeeDee Lamb. He was receiver 1 in that draft, only because Chase wasn't in there. And then Judy, I felt like was 1A and he was 1B. I feel like that's a personal opinion because I prefer his type of skill set over speed, which is what he was mostly like. That was his like top thing was speed out of college, without a doubt. But yeah, I would have went Lamb, Judy, then Ruggs. But nah, I mean, I don't think it was that bad of a pick as everyone is talking like it is, you know? Because there's a way worse pick in this draft that no one ever talks about.
Jalen Reagor. People do talk
about it. No. I'm talking about the running back position. Clyde Edwards-Helaire over Jonathan Taylor.
I mean, I've talked about it, and I mean, on more of a fantasy front, that was one of the things that made me, for one of the leagues I'm doing this year, want to do the draft before the NFL draft because everybody had Taylor or DeAndre Swift as their number one back.
Yeah.
No one had CEH before the landing spot. And just because of the landing spot, he shot up rookie drafts to the number one spot when talent-wise he didn't have the production that Swift and Taylor had in college.
Not at all.
He didn't have the body. He didn't have the speed. The only thing they were banking on is he'll be able to fall into the end zone.
Yeah, they said he had great hands for running back. That's what I remember.
Which DeAndre Swift has great hands for running back. Granted, he's had some drops, but
yeah, just one big drop. But he'll grow. He was a rookie, you know.
Yeah. Taylor, they said couldn't catch the ball. I've seen him last year. He had quite a few catches, right? Yeah. So like, outside of landing spot being the Chiefs, he would have not been anybody's 101 in rookie drafts. And just based on landing spot, he gets that. Now everybody's going back and saying, yeah, probably wasn't the best move, but there is some production there. It's not like Henry Ruggs. Where did he eclipse 500 receiving yards in any of the seasons before he ruined his life?
Did he? I want to say his rookie year he should have.
I don't know. I would pull it up, but even if it is, it wasn't consistency.
Oh no, not at all.
Right?
Let me see.
So like, I don't put him as big of a bust as like a Jalen Reagor. Or if we put it in a vacuum, who went first, CEH over JT. But I do think they got infatuated with the speed because he almost broke John Ross's record.
Yeah, he was like a 100th of a second off?
Yeah, so like everybody got infatuated with the speed. But me personally, I'm going for the receivers with technique over just sheer speed and athleticism. Because I feel like technique wins more often than that, but
yeah, like only thing burning speed gets you is that over the top bomb, like, and that's cool and all. It looks great, but like for example, Michael Thomas, you can get 10 yards guaranteed every reception. You're gonna score eventually. Like it just take you 7 receptions, but like I would rather have that than like every now and then have a bomb, you know. And a lot of teams think that's good because like. For game planning against that, you got to respect it, which opens up other things, which sounds good, but it's a lot harder to execute, you know? Like, clearly they know that's your only thing you're going with, and that's a lot easier to stop than a guy that has a whole route tree that you can build more around. So, it just makes too much sense for me.
And body style, too.
Yeah, like, I just play Madden, you know? I don't run actual franchises, but...
That's a fact.
But no, back to what you just said. I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you done on Jalen Reagor? Like, is he just not good?
So I don't know, man. I'm still in the mindset that we haven't been able to see him in an offense that's reputable enough to be like, okay, he failed. But I mean, he's had opportunity after opportunity, and people have produced in those offenses that aren't him. Devontae Smith came in and produced his rookie year.
Okay, all right. I wouldn't. That's a hard comparison to the
They're
Heisman
both
winner.
first round picks, bro.
To the Heisman winning Devontae
Dude,
Smith.
they're both first round picks. And the year that he didn't produce, he got hurt. And then this year, it's been a struggle for him, and he's been in the doghouse. But the rookie came in and produced. I don't care that he's a Heisman. Body style, frame. I'm just doing athletic profiles and where he got drafted.
Okay.
That's it.
Well,
because to be honest, if there was a quarterback who balled out, Devontae Smith wouldn't have won the Heisman.
yeah. I mean, that's true.
That.
Yeah.
So it's politics for the awards, but I'm just breaking down what your athletic profile is and what your draft capital is, and they're both first round picks. So they were expecting him to come in and produce immediately. He got hurt, which sucks, but this year he was healthy, played all the games, had no production. Now, granted, Jalen Hurts is still trying to figure out the position there or decide if he is the guy. The guy calling plays, in my opinion, had no clue what he was doing.
It was like Nick Scaroni or something like that.
Yeah, Nick Sirianni or something. But whatever his name is,
Spaghetti
he didn't
OS.
have a good balance of run and pass.
He didn't know what he was doing for half the season.
Yeah, so I don't want to write him off, but it's looking pretty tough. And if he wasn't first round capital, they're probably looking to cut ties, which is not to lead it back to fantasy, but that's something that I feel like means more than sometimes talent is draft capital. Because we're looking at a guy like N'Keal Harry, who the Patriots probably wanted to get rid of ages ago, but again, first round capital. So, I'm not out completely on Jalen Reagor, but from a fantasy perspective, I'm not acquiring unless it's off the waivers. But yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a good buy low target just because his value is so cheap right now. You could probably get him, like you said, either A, off the waivers, or B, for nothing. I think this is the last year, though. Like, he does have, this is his third year in the league now? I think this year is his make it or break it, clearly because he has to make a play for his contract, or he's not going to be with the team the next year. I want to say he should, that fourth year, or let me check. 'Cause let me see it. He's a third year, right?
Third year this year, yeah, because he went in with CD and the boys, so this was their sophomore year, and next year's their third. But I agree.
Yeah, I think this is the year he makes or breaks.
If I'm in a startup draft, dynasty or dynasty redraft, I wouldn't even touch him. But dynasty, I would take him and N'Keal Harry at the way later rounds. I haven't checked ADPs recently, but I'd be surprised if it's anything in the top 14 rounds that those guys go.
No way he's in top 14.
Yeah, so I wouldn't mind stacking N'Keal Harry and Jalen Reagor, which, to segue, you saw that there are trade rumors for N'Keal Harry?
No. Who wants to trade for him?
Bro, I'd put him out there in Green Bay.
Okay.
I mean, Devin Funchess had a career just based on jump ball ability and athleticism. N'Keal Harry hasn't had, one, the quarterback for that, or two, the scheme for that since he's gotten the league.
That's true. I'm being too hard on him.
This is somebody who his measurables tested better than DK's, if I'm not mistaken.
Didn't he get drafted over DK?
Yeah, he did, which egregious again, but whatever. People were worried about DK's route tree, which is wild because look at his size and look at his build and his speed.
You don't need a route tree. Yeah, you don't need a route tree. It's like, once again, I just play Madden, but they have
and nobody was worried about his route tree.
I don't understand how the top 1% of athletes can't just learn a route tree. Like, you can't teach speed, you can't teach size, you can't teach a vertical. I mean, you can teach a vertical, but you can't teach his vert. Like, he ain't no one getting that high. You can teach a route tree now. Why is that so hard?
I would think, but
like, go out, pay Marvin Harrison $100K to give him some workouts every weekend. Like, go get Chad Ochocinco. He would love to help. Like,
shout out my boy Ocho. I love Ocho.
Shout out Ocho if you watching. I love you. You're the reason why I do this.
You're the reason I do this, Ocho.
It's all you, baby. Oh, my bad. Right here. It's all you. But yeah, I don't understand it. I don't know how these quote unquote professional skill obsessors, like, NFL analysts, can I even call them that at this point? Because they miss on so many, and I mean, like, real bad.
I ain't gonna act like I'm accurate, but I don't get paid to do it.
You're right. I wouldn't say I'm the most accurate, but I feel like I have just as good an analysis as half these people, and that's just based off. It's not even my career. It's just a hobby, and I can see a pick and be like, "Oh, that's a bad pick," or everyone they're in love with. I'm like, "No, he sucks," you know. And sometimes I'm right.
I feel you on that.
Yeah.
But if, as a Bengals fan, to bring it back to N'Keal Harry, would you be willing to have him on there?
I would love
fourth
him.
Option.
Name our fourth receiver.
Yeah.
Do you know who he is?
Fan, and if we could give up something to just kind of throw him in, he'd be our receiver 2 behind Laquan Treadwell right now. So.
Laquan Treadwell's your number 1? I thought it was Laviska.
He did not produce better than Laquan Treadwell this year.
I thought it was Marvin Jones, Laviska, and then Laquan, because y'all signed him like mid-season.
Talking about production, Laquan produced at the back end of the season, while Laviska and Marvin Jones did not.
Okay.
I don't even know if we re-signed Laquan Treadwell, but if we did, I can't lie. The production, it's in the production, it's in the numbers. And when things were going for Trevor, Laquan Treadwell and Dan Arnold were his targets.
Okay, yeah. I'm just surprised because I remember that Laquan Treadwell draft, and I was sad because he got picked 2 picks before the Cincy pick, and we went with Will Jack the third, who was solid first 2 years, but fuck him, you know? He was talking all that shit last year, and look where he ended. Horrible. King guard nobody, and the Bengals are in the ship, baby. Talk to me. And I hope you watching too, Will. You know where I stay at, Fort Myers. Come see me. Don't do that, but yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
You'd probably work them, but snap. We got our.
I'll route that boy up, man. You ain't seen my route tree.
My gosh, I have not seen your route tree. We might have to get you out to the combine.
Nasty.
You know the stopwatches are a little bit early, so
I run a 4.3. If they still recording that, I run a 4.3, bitch. Right now.
Get you a quick 40. Get you signed somewhere. You know we're gonna get you that bag. I'll be the agent.
That's what's up. All right, so on to the next one.
Hit me with the next question.
So we're going to go back to the quarterback talks now. How do you feel about the newly named Washington Commanders and their move for Carson Wentz?
Drug test the GM. Next question.
Wait, what?
I don't get it. I don't. You have
I get
Fitzpatrick. Don't they have Fitzpatrick under contract still?
Yes.
If Fitzpatrick comes back healthy, he's going to beat out Carson Wentz. I could put money on that.
I don't see it because Carson Wentz wasn't that bad. He just wasn't good when they needed him to be good.
He wasn't good a lot. That's the thing. Like they needed him
to be good. They were one game away from the playoffs. One Jag loss away from the playoffs.
Did you hear what you just said?
Yeah, I heard it.
You had one game to go to the playoffs, and the team you had to beat were the Jags. Let me get close to the camera.
Who had nothing to play for.
The team you had to beat were the Jags.
And you couldn't do it.
The Jags. One day to be great. The Jags.
Just like the Commanders and myself, I just love the value. Like the risk reward for what they traded, I feel like they won that trade. Because like you're right, you could be bummed.
They probably lost the locker room.
I don't think they lost the locker room. I mean, nope, actually, I can agree with that. Just because the way they like quote unquote love Terry McLaurin, you would think they would try their best to get him like a quality like quarterback, and they're just like
of the ball.
Yeah, they just getting someone that can just do anything.
They're getting somebody who could hand off and hit a slant route, maybe. Right?
Yeah,
we're way away from MVP Wentz, which he had a season, barring that knee injury in LA, where the Eagles won the chip.
Yeah.
They had a season where he was MVP level.
Yeah.
Right? And that coach that brought him there was like, you know what? Maybe we could rekindle something in Indianapolis with me being the coach here. Better line, better running back, arguably similar to better defense than that championship team. And they couldn't make the playoffs.
And I thought they were primed for a playoff run too. Like
they made the playoffs with Phillip Rivers the year before.
Crazy.
Like, come on now, Chris.
Okay, you're spitting facts. I'll give you that.
So,
but for the value of what they give up 2/3.
Bro, they could have gotten Mitch Trubisky or Marcus Mariota for a bag of chips.
But I feel like he's better than both of those. That's the issue. Like,
the issue is we're looking at what he's done in the past.
But they gave up 2/3. Like, let me get the full deal real quick. Just to be accurate.
I will not let him live down the fact that he lost to the Jags. One game.
Okay. So the Colts receive a 2022 third, a 2023 third. Yep. That will become a second round pick if Wentz plays 70% of the snaps, and a 2020 second round pick. Oh, okay. All right. They paid a lot. For Carson Wentz and a 2020 second round pick. So like a pick swap.
Let's not talk about the Colts who also traded a first to go get Wentz. Or like a second that turned into a first to go get Wentz.
I forgot about that.
And then after a year was like, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
That's also something that we need to hold accountable to is the fact that they gave him a year and was like, this was a mistake. After all of they invested. As a buyer, that should also be a question mark like, bro, they're cutting this investment pretty quick.
Yeah, but I did hear that was more of like leadership issues in the locker room and like management stuff. As much as you think it would be the play, I was told that played a larger factor into them not wanting to invest anymore in him. Which was like, that's a big red flag because of like the situation that they're in now. It's like, who you're going to replace with him? Like, they would rather have like a Mitch Trubisky or Marcus Mariota than Wentz is what I'm seeing now.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Also, the Colts are just as egregious in this situation. If I'm the Colts, yes, he burnt us this year, but with what I've invested, let's give him another year at least, right?
You would think.
What you're going to do is move on from him. You didn't get a first-round pick back, so in a quarterback class that's already weak, you're going to have to wait if you want to draft a quarterback, and then you're going to go out and target Jimmy G, which, granted, I consider better than Wentz, but it's not a huge upgrade. Like, you're not changing much, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, not at all.
Granted, you have one of the best lines in the league when you guys are healthy. Quentin Nelson suffered a lot of injuries last year, missed quite a few games, was in and out, but still one of the best lines when healthy. One of the best running backs in the league. Young, stout, 2,000 combined yards a season. Is probably going to be in his realm of outcomes, especially next year. Michael Pittman broke out a little bit, right?
Tiny bit.
There's potential. What you say?
So he broke out a tiny bit.
He broke out a tiny bit. And, Darius Leonard on the other side, tackle machine. You got pieces, and you're in the weakest division. Well, probably one of the weakest divisions in the NFL. It's you and the Titans. That's it. So I can see how you'd be like, get us a game manager. Look what the 49ers did with Jimmy G. We could probably replicate that. Look what we did the year before with Phillip Rivers, who was very stationary and very old, made it to the playoffs, right? Which, again, brings back. We just need somebody to do just enough. Carson Wentz was trying to do too much, right? So I think to cut ties and kind of waste the what they gave and then didn't get back exactly what they gave, they got back enough. Both teams were egregious in the deal because it involved Carson Wentz. That's it. That's my stance. But I don't know what the Commanders are doing. I don't know what the Commanders are doing.
I just hope it works out, man, because I'm a big Scary Terry fan, and we always want to see him succeed. We know greatness is right around the horizon.
Trade him.
And it's like they're playing with it. It's like they're acting like this is going to last forever. Like, that's...
He's already an older receiver coming into the league. He didn't come in at 21. He came in at like 23 or 24. He's not young.
It's yeah, man. You got him. You got Antonio Gibson. You got a really solid defense. Now, granted, they didn't perform like they should have. They didn't play
like a solid defense last year.
But yeah, I feel like with the right man under center, they would play a lot differently. Because it is demoralizing when you do give it your all, and you got some bum Buddy Budskin coming out and throwing the ball back out there to the other team. You got to play another 4 downs? Like, come on, bro.
Imagine being Scary Terry and you're in the wide receiver group chat with your boys, and Jerry Jeudy hits you with the ooh, we lit. Russ pulled up, and you're like, oh man, I can't wait till our front office makes a move, and you wait, and you hear dum 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 dum, Adam Schefter bomb. The Commanders make a move for Carson Wentz.
You know what meme pops in my head
went,
exactly when you say that? It's
what?
the one of Doc Rivers on the sideline looking clueless, going back and forth as the camera zooms in.
Yeah,
That was him.
He probably
like,
wanted to walk to the facility and empty his locker.
Yeah,
That's how
like,
I would have
come
felt.
on, man. Like,
I mean, and you know what's the worst part?
what?
You know what's the worst part? It's the best quarterback he's played with since he's entered the league.
Gosh,
that's the
true.
worst part. I love Ryan Fitzpatrick, but from an overall standpoint, it's gonna be the best quarterback he's played with since he's been in the league.
Yeah.
Because I just don't know, man. Prayers up for Scary Terry.
Yeah, prayers up, man. Okay, so I mean, it's the same. Or actually, let's just dive a little bit into it. But like, how do you feel about Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson next year? Or how do you feel like Antonio Gibson? Or yeah, just how you feel about Antonio Gibson now with Wentz?
I think he'll do okay. Fantasy wise, Wentz isn't really like a guy who's good at dumping the ball off or anything like that. So I don't expect his receptions to get crazy or anything like that. Not like when Phillip Rivers was playing for the Colts, and we knew that was his game. And when Phillip Rivers was playing for the Chargers, and we knew that was his game, was when things in doubt, don't put off to the running back, which led to like 6-8 reception games from Eckler, or the Colts offense being able to sustain Hines receptions and a bit of Taylor receptions the year Rivers was there. I don't see Wentz is that type of quarterback, but I will say that Terry will kind of just do Terry. I don't think either of their ADP should be affected that much. If anything, there's a pullback on Antonio Gibson's ADP fantasy-wise because people are projecting him to probably in the realm of top 5 to top 10 back, and things are only getting more crowded up at the top. I think Breece Hall will sneak into that top 10 depending where he gets drafted.
Yes.
I like guys like Cam Akers still because that offense is crazy. I haven't counted out Dobbins with the injury. Swift is just going to be a volume monster because there's nobody else out there. Of course, JT. If Kamara is able to overcome legal issues, I think he'll still be in a situation where he's catching the ball a lot. There's a lot of guys up there, but I feel like we'd have to bump Antonio Gibson down a bit because I don't think the offense is going to be very successful, which will lead to less scoring opportunities, which will affect those points. So that's my stance.
I mean,
I'll keep in Dynasty. I'm holding because you're not in a situation where you could sell them because whatever you paid before last season, it's lower now.
Yeah, you ain't getting that.
Kind of just have to hold.
Okay. So, still on the Carson Wentz, on the other side of the field, though, who should the Colts pursue to replace him?
So, talk to Jimmy G. I don't hate that move for them. It depends what they give up to get him. If they take the same package and give it to the Niners for Jimmy G, then I don't hate it. But as long as they don't overpay for Jimmy G.
I just feel like Jimmy G's going to go for a first-round pick somehow. I don't know why, but I have that feeling.
There's only if Pittsburgh pays a first round pick for him, because it'd be like the 17th pick.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
That's kind of wild because I would hope they'd spend that on the O-line, but they could probably flesh it out with free agents and the second round pick or something. But if he goes for a first, the Colts I don't think have one, do they?
The Colts don't. No.
Yeah, so they wouldn't be able to acquire him. But we're hearing talks of Trubisky being shopped around. I don't love Trubisky, but I think he didn't get a fair shot. We've seen what Nagy's done with young quarterbacks. And we've seen Trubisky in cleanup for Josh Allen, and he's looked decent. So that's an option. Mariota was a starting quarterback for 4 years.
Yes, sir.
So you never know. That wouldn't be horrible. I hear Kirk Cousins is being shopped a little bit. You know, he's at least a functioning quarterback. So.
I like him the best out of every other option. It's just I don't know what his availability is really like.
Or what his price is.
Yeah.
But there's options out there.
There is. Have you heard about this option though? I heard someone was in the best shape of their life, quote unquote.
Oh my gosh.
You know who I'm
Next
talking
question.
about.
Next.
Okay, I'm not even gonna mention.
So here's the thing. I love what he did. Right? Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It was a stance worth making. when you understand the breakdown of what he was doing and you don't just hop on, nah, he's disrespected. Nah, if you break down the whole story and understand where he went with it, it was a good, peaceful protest. But
Of course.
let us not act like this man was balling before he started the protest. His numbers weren't crazy. He was struggling, right?
Yes.
So there was a reason why it was easy to cut ties with him.
Yes.
And I don't think multiple years removed from the NFL makes you any better of a quarterback.
Yeah.
So granted, I would love to see him get a shot, but I don't think he's anybody's solution. I think it would be a good situation like for teams that have their dual threat quarterback. Like what I kept saying is he should have been backing up in Baltimore for a minute, right? Yeah. I think he fits that scheme very well. Josh Allen loses Trubisky, boom, throw him back there too. He could have been the backup in Tennessee for Tannehill.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could work too. But no one should be paying him to be a starter at this point until he gets an opportunity to kind of prove he's at least serviceable. I don't think there's 64 quarterbacks better than him
in the league. Because Mason Rudolph is a part of that. He's not better than Colin Kaepernick.
Mason Rudolph is in there. Dwayne Haskins is in there. But I do feel like he's not a starter. So that's my issue.
I feel like this is his last shot. This is the most desperate I've seen teams in a long time try to get quarterbacks. Because Russ just got traded. They solidified Aaron Rodgers. Everybody's trying to hype up these rookie quarterbacks. Like, only person I like is Willis. After the combine, he's nice. He got my stamp of approval. He will be successful in the right system. Guarantee it.
Well, this is hilarious to think about because everybody I talk to has a different number one.
Really?
I like Willis quite a bit.
I like Willis the best now.
I spoke to Jordy, my manager. Shout out Jordy if you check this out. He likes Kenny Pickett as his number one and Sam Howell as his number two. I don't think Sam Howell's horrible.
I don't trust any NC quarterback. Don't.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't think Sam Howell's horrible, but I think system will prove him better than him going anywhere, right?
Yep.
I think he's a perfect fit for the Saints and how they run their offense. Granted, Sean Payton's not there anymore, but I feel like he'd be a perfect fit for the Saints. Drop him in Pittsburgh, not horrible. There's a ton of weapons out there and great coaching. But, like, if you're expecting him to turn your franchise around or if you drop him in Seattle, I think he'll fail because that offensive line is too bad, right?
Yeah.
So it's just about landing spot for a lot of these guys. Kenny Pickett, I'm not too sold on any guy who's a 6-year senior. I don't love those type of guys. But you never know. You know, this is one of those classes where before the combine, there was no set number one running back. Even after the combine, actually, some people are still taking Kenneth Walker over Breece Hall.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is wild. But there's no number one at any of the positions. Pretty much just pick the guy you like. But I think I'm more on the side of Malik Willis being my number one personally. And if he ends up, where were we talking about again? The Colts?
Who, Malik Willis?
Yeah, you were saying, like, who do we like? Because you said you brought up Malik Willis while we were talking about the Colts.
Oh,
because you're saying you don't trust any of the rookies except Malik Willis.
Well, yeah.
If wherever Malik Willis ends up, I feel like that team they'll have to mold him a little bit still. I think he's still a little bit raw.
Yeah, he's real raw. And that's the only reason I like him the most because his ceiling is higher than any other quarterback. So I feel like if you're able to get the most out of him, it will be worth it. Whereas the other ones, like, for example, Kenny Pickett, I don't see him being anything crazy. Like, he could be playing his best football of his life. I'll see him as, like, a back-end top 15 quarterback, like, probably, like, 12 through 15 in the league, you know? Whereas Malik does have his ground game. You know, I like black quarterbacks that can run, you know? But still, it's like from his big arm in that, you get that like old school glimpse of Mike Vick, you know?
I feel you. Speed not the same, but I feel you.
That's what I'm like hoping for. But yeah, it has to be system. I don't see the Colts getting him. I don't know how they would.
They would need it first, but
I think a lot of these questions will be answered next week because I feel like this free agency is going to be really aggressive. Teams are going to be clear with their visions on what they're trying to get done. And if that doesn't get done, they're going to have to move fast just because so many other teams are going to have to move fast as well. Mm-hmm. So I think after the combine, Willis solidified himself as like a top 10 pick, though, which is crazy to say, but I think someone either trades up to get him top 10 or he gets drafted in the back 10.
Seattle. I don't think he gets past Seattle.
Yeah, or they move the
we'll
pick
see.
and go with someone else.
Yeah. All right, next question.
We'll see. Next question. This isn't even a question, or it is a question. Aaron Rodgers resigns in Green Bay. How do you feel about that?
Good move for both sides. They need to support him with better wide receiver options outside of Devontae Adams. All three of their secondary receivers are free agents. I think maybe one of them comes back, but they will not re-sign all three. Solid run game. Lightning and thunder out there with Aaron Jones and that boy, A.J. Dillon.
Quadzilla.
Number
2. But yeah.
They definitely need to get him some more wide receiver help. And I feel like with him having more of a say in the draft, which I think is probably what was the selling point to keep him there.
1,000% he's picking this next pick.
He has to be the wide receiver. And I mean, prayers up for Jordan Love and all Jordan Love owners in fantasy and everybody who was trying to sell him before the re-signing happened. It's curtains. He's a backup quarterback for now, unless Green Bay cuts ties and is smart about their decision and sends him somewhere where, maybe he could flourish as a competitor in camp and steal a starting spot. But I don't think they should be keeping a first-round pick guy that they traded up to go get, didn't they?
Yeah.
They traded up to the 23
one of the
to go
worst
get.
moves in draft history at this point, solidified forever. But yeah.
Yeah. They need to at least cut ties and get something back, because him sitting on the bench for 4 years does you no good, especially if you guys weren't confident enough after 2 years to be like, if things go awry, we can ride with him as our starter. You had no faith in him, so.
Yeah, and it's like the longer you hold, it's like bread. It's just gonna keep on molding, bruh. Like, you gotta get rid of it.
You gotta cut your ties and just call that one tough.
Yeah, I want to shout out to the Packers organization for gifting us T. Higgins, because you could have had him.
Yeah,
you didn't pick him.
Definitely gifted him.
Thank you for that.
That's crazy. There's so many people they could have.
Yes, that's because that was the number one thing on my Twitter feed. After Aaron Rodgers signed, I go to trending and it's T. Higgins, and it's like, y'all really took Jordan Love over baby A.J. Green? Like, come on, man.
Gosh.
T. Higgins, like, that boy was the truth, and he's really what the Packers needed. Like, imagine him next to Devontae Adams. Like, come on.
Crazy.
That would have been nasty. And they were like, nah,
that
Jordan
playoff
Love.
last they had against the Niners, where it was that Devontae Adams all day, and then the only guy he really could trust past that is Aaron Jones. It would have been great to have a number 2 receiver right there.
And then you see what T. Higgins does in Cincy next to rookie Jamar Chase. Like, he's good, but Devontae Adams is a god.
Yeah,
like,
that was a tough.
Come on, man. Like,
all right, what you got for us?
Better days are ahead for Jordan Love, hopefully. All right, next question. We're gonna go over to the Dallas Cowboys. But where do you see Amari Cooper going after he gets released?
If he has his choice and I'm him, Chiefs on a cheap deal. But realistically, I could see him in Miami. He's from Miami. They need another veteran receiver presence out there. Him next to Waddle will be pretty decent. Sign Will Fuller on another prove-it deal. That's a good trio. And you give Tua an actual opportunity with 3 fairly competent receivers. Will Fuller is what Will Fuller will be if he's healthy. So give Tua full opportunity, full reign. They tagged Gesicki to see what he actually has. Air the ball out and draft him a running back this year, please. If Breece Hall lands there and they're able to fix their line, I love that. He'll be a workhorse back for him. But
he'll be their best back in years, dude. Easily.
Shouts out Jay Ajayi.
I feel like I never liked Jay Ajayi, but even that stretch he had with them was like.
Yeah, he had a stretch. It was like 3 200-yard games.
Yeah, I just feel like it's like the one position that's been holding them back, and they just haven't addressed it. And they've tried to go on cheap with it by like plug and chug players, but it's like just do what you have to do. Like
Yeah.
I don't know why that's so hard. I see that there are rumors that they're trying to get CMC. I think that's just rumors. I don't even think they have the balls to give
They
up what they
should
need
not
to
do
give
that.
it.
If they give up
So
what I think they're gonna give up for him, they should not do that.
you said they shouldn't.
Shouldn't. No.
You don't like CMC?
No, I love CMC, but if we're talking about the position, look at how poorly running backs age and what the package for CMC would be to come to a team that's not ready to compete for a championship. It's not worth it. For the
True.
Dolphins, for CMC, it's great. For Panthers, it would be great too because they know they're not in a position to win a championship, so they're trying to move their asset. That's what you should kind of look at. I don't think Miami's in a better situation than the Panthers to win a championship. Teams that should be trying to get CMC but probably don't have the assets. Chiefs, would you guys like CEH and a pick, and we'll take CMC off your hands? Boom, beautiful. Or, I mean, who else is out there that needs a running back? Seems tough. Just get a young one out the draft. The Bills.
I'm seeing a lot of Bills
You just
talk.
said it. The Bills. They could give you Zach Moss, Singletary,
The whole running back
2%
room. What the
royalties
hell?
on ticket sales.
Take the whole room, yeah. hell?
Matt Breida.
I remember I picked him up
Dawson
last
Knox.
year. I just wasted my time with that. I don't know why
Yeah,
I
I
did
picked
that.
up Matt Breida too. But yeah, you give it to a competitor where he'll go and actually produce. Like if you saw what the Bills did for Marshawn Lynch, something like that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't do. If I'm Dolphin, I don't do that. I just draft a running back. When you had opportunities years before, you skipped over Swift, you skipped over Taylor. So like, just be smart about it this year. There's a couple guys I like. Brees Hall. I'm not too sold on some of the other guys. I don't think Kenneth Walker is bad, but invest your pick. Don't invest multiple picks when you're not a championship team yet. That's just how I see it.
It's facts. You should live by that.
Yeah.
Okay. That was actually my last question, man. You got any questions for me or what?
So if you had to review all the moves this week, which one would you hope that a team could take back? Like if a team had to reverse a move.
If I had to pick, it would be the Washington trade. As much as I do like the pick, one of the repercussions of that was losing Landon Collins because he was supposed to get paid, stay with the team, but they can't now because they have Carson Wentz to deal with, so he's going to be a free agent. And I think that sets a bad precedent for the team because you're already going through a bunch of like
He was a
stuff
captain,
with the
wasn't he? I feel like he was a
media,
captain.
the name change, the emails.
Yeah.
So it's like it was already going downhill slightly. And then with this move, it's like I know they're telling Terry McLaurin, like, hey, we're going to get you a quarterback. We're going to get you someone to get you the ball. And then you go get Carson Wentz. So it's like not a whole slap in the face, but it's a little tap. It's like, here you go. Like, we said this, but we're going to do this instead, you know? And then you lose like quality players like Landon Collins on the other side of the ball. So I know those players are already thinking like, dang, Landon Collins is out. Like, what is my situation going to be like if they do have to keep him? They think he is the guy and he plays mediocre and they still pay him and I'm outplaying my contract and you don't want to pay me, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think it's going to leak later in the future depending on Carson Wentz and his performance, but already to a rough start, and I already know those players are thinking about that right now just because of it.
100%. In closing, all I want to say is that boy's going on a revenge tour next year if he balls out, though. Philly twice and the Colts once.
Yeah, okay.
If he gets hot and he turns
You
into
okay?
what they paid for, which, I mean, they didn't pay much, but if he turns into MVP Wentz and balls out, whoo.
Hey, I hope so. I don't pray for any man's downfall. I love good football. I want to see MVP Carson Wentz.
For Scary Terry's sake, I hope we do too.
Exactly.
And for guys who have Carson Wentz on the back of their fantasy teams, shouts out to y'all if he balls out next year, because otherwise he's just going to rot back there. I think this is a solid one. I think we should make this a weekly thing where we cover some news or something.
Hell yeah. Especially with this offseason really starting to kick up. I'm so excited. Next, Tuesday? No, Monday the 14th free agency. Heard it here first. Ryan Jensen's a Bengal, baby. We popping bottles. Just know that.
If he does it, shouts
but
out to
yeah,
y'all.
I think we should recap every free agent move as it happens. Initial reactions.
I'm about it. Because we do the podcast. Shouts out to y'all. Y'all have been listening to the last few podcasts. We're at like 27 listens over the last 3 episodes. So it's been going up a little bit. Movie reviews, sports reviews. Me and Otto just did a UFC one. So we do that. But this is the first visual podcast we've given you guys. So
yes, sir.
Prepare for a lot more of these. You're right. Free agency coming up Monday. Allen Robinson coming back home. I've missed you. Come to a quarterback who will throw you the ball.
Yo.
Mr. A-Rob.
Okay.
You balled out multiple 1,000-yard seasons for the Jags. Come back.
Yeah, who was his quarterback when he did that?
The Boat.
Who?
Blake Bortles, baby.
Oh,
the Boat.
Oh. I was thinking Brian Leftwich for a minute. I'm like, oh, he ain't play with Brian Leftwich now.
You went way back. That's crazy.
That's like Maurice Jones.
Nah, it was the Boat, man. It was him and Allen Hurns both had 1,000-yard receiving seasons together.
Yeah. I remember them boys. Yeah.
We balled out. Don't hate. We balled out.
Yeah,
but anyway, it's been a good episode. Pretty much episode 1 of Kick and Post Podcasts, a.k.a. NFL News.
Yes, sir.
With me and Chris.
Say less,
hopefully
Kate.
We'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.
We'll see you.